My good friend Pee-wee!
I love me some Pee Wee Herman, especially Pee Wee's Big Adventure, and in this video, I'm going to talk about my 10 favorite moments from the movie. Now, before I get started, I want you to go ahead and hit that subscribe button because you're going to love this video so much you're not going to want to miss any of my future content. And as a thank you, here's a picture. Now let's get going with my favorite 10 moments. Well, number one is my favorite moment because it's everybody's favorite moment. It's, of course, Large Marge. When I first saw this scene in the theater, I nearly jumped out of my seat, and then I frickin' laughed my head off because in the middle of this great, fun kids movie with this lovable Pee Wee Herman comes this super scary, super unrealistic, super unexpected, crazy moment with Large Marge. I showed the movie recently to my kids, and I did not tell them Large Marge was coming. They were scared and laughed, and 10 years later, my son still tells me that Large Marge is one of the things that gives him nightmares. Number two, the clown dreams. I love the clown dreams. Every time Pee Wee Herman goes into a nightmare, the first time I saw a clown scene in one of these movies, I knew that the director, whoever it was going to be a major, major director. It was Tim Burton. I never even heard of him back then. It was because of the smartness of moments like that I was like, yeah, this guy's great. Number three, the opening sequence. I don't know if it's the Danny Elfman music. I don't know if it's the Rube Goldberg. I don't know if it's the introduction of Pee Wee Herman for the first time in a movie, but everything about the breakfast machine is hilarious to me. And everything about how he gets dressed in the morning and runs around the house and has his little pajamas and has his slippers and goes to the bathroom and brushes his teeth and has a little tape, and everything that he does is hilarious to me. He sold this so well that I really think that I fell in love with Pee Wee Herman as a character just from this one scene alone. If the movie had ended after that one scene, I would have loved it as a short film. Number four, I love the mistakes in the movies. I don't know if you've ever noticed, so I'm just going to go ahead and point out a few of them here. Number one is look at Pee Wee on the road here. He's driving and he's passing all of these strange signs of twisty turns and everything, but look at the bottom of the signs. You actually see that the car isn't moving. All of the signs are on some sort of track passing by. You see that? And it keeps happening. It took me like 5 times to see it before I realized, oh my God, this is a mistake. And the other big mistake is look at this moment when he's pulling the ridiculously long chain out of his bike. They actually have the bottom of the screen here, and you can see the chain is coming in through the bottom and up through the top. But the thing is, the charm of these mistakes add to the greatness of who Pee Wee Herman is. Number 5, I love how Pee Wee Herman sneaks into things. When he goes to Francis's house, first of all, Francis lives in a massive house, which is amazing, and has a butler. But look here at when Pee Wee goes and knocks on the door and he's kicked out of the house. Immediately, the butler hears the knock, turns around again. In 1 second, there is a fake hand on the door, and then as he looks at the fake hand, Pee Wee's already behind him sneaking in. It happens again, by the way, when he has to sneak onto the Warner Brothers lot, and suddenly he runs into Milton Berle and easily is able to get on the lot as well. And speaking of the Warner Brothers lot, number 6, that chase through the Warner Brothers lot is also one of my favorite moments. It's amazing that Pee Wee would get onto a lot where all of the movies being made were great little movies, from the Godzilla thing, as well as the music video, of course, with Twisted Sister. It all come together in this crazy car chase through the movie studios. Reminds me a lot of Blazing Saddles and the end of Blazing Saddles, where suddenly, like, it breaks the fourth wall of Westerns and, everybody's in on it. Which, by the way, I was also at the Warner Brothers lot. Number 7, I just love the biker scene, and I like it for different reasons. It's not that I like that he gets up and he sings Tequila. I mean, everyone, thinks that's hilarious or whatever. It's the details of the scene. He accidentally knocks over the bikes, which is funny, but when they're basically attacking him and they're all like, we want to tattoo him, we want to fillet him, then you hear this little voice from Pee Wee Herman, and he's trying to throw everybody off by saying, I thought that was hilarious. And then later on, when he goes to dance his Tequila song, he turns and whispers into a guy who then you realize is wearing platform shoes, takes them off, and he's like a foot shorter. And I thought that was also a fun little gag in it. Number 8, I really like the first scene between Francis and Pee Wee. The conversation between the two of them is a perfect scenario of two adults playing children that is funny and believable, and when Pee Wee falls on the ground laughing, when he goes, hey, I'm listening to reason, make me. The back and forth of this, the childness of this is If you don't get sucked into the just charm of that scene, the movie is never going to work for you. Number 9, I love when Pee-wee gets a part in his own movie, but he unfortunately has to play, not himself, but he has to play the hotel butler, and then they've dubbed his voice.
Paging Mr. Herman. Mr. Herman, you have a telephone call at the front desk.
Because he obviously has such an idiotic voice, and I think it's hilarious. And if you look at him, he can't help but look at the camera. He's such a bad actor in his own movie. And by the way, speaking of that, I also really do like the drive-in scene where you get to see all of the characters of his big adventure come back to watch his movie and get to see where they all are. The only one missing, I guess, was Large Marge. Number 10. And you know this one's coming, the Alamo. Yes, he's taking that tour, and he just wants to get to the bottom of the Alamo, to the basement. So he gets to the Alamo, but he's got to go through the tour. But they won't take him to the basement. They don't seem to allow him to ask questions. But what's really funny is the entire tour is completely moronic. She butchers the Spanish. People repeat after her when she speaks Spanish in the worst accent.
And Pedro is working on an Adobe. Can you say that with me?
Such a great scene. Well, that's my video on Pee-wee's Big Adventure, one of my favorite movies. I've seen it like 50 times. Now, tell me what your thoughts are of that great classic movie in the comments. I'd love to know your favorite scenes. I'd love to know what your favorite scenes, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Put it in the comments. If you like this video, be sure to give it a like, be sure to give it a subscribe, and if there's a movie that you want to see me talk about, go ahead and let me know in the comments as well. I love movies, I love TV shows, I love talking about them, and I want to hear what you think. Also, if you're not a member of my Patreon page, go ahead and subscribe. Patreon members get exclusive access to me. And that's the video, so thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. And as usual, if you can't wait for another one, take a look at these videos right here where I talk about other great classic movies, usually comedies, because, hey, that's my thing. Take care. Hope you enjoyed the video. Be sure to give me that like, and I'll see you in the next one.